Hello out there, Tranceportal TV. You are in the studio with me, Sean Tyas, today for a quick tip as I show you how to do a spin down vinyl style of your own track as a fill instead of all the sample packs and digging through samples that you probably do sometimes. And this is just a way to be a bit more creative and have your own sound as you do it. Okay, so here we go. We are in Ableton Live. I'm assuming you could probably apply most of these techniques to almost anything. I'm going to pretty much just be dealing with the sampler here, so I have to assume this would be standard for every DAW out there. And so we want to just basically take one section, just kind of run a longer bit. Cool. So we have just a nice good bit of long audio. Let's make a new audio track and set the input to resampling. And cool, turn on the record enable, don't even need to solo. And so yeah, let's pop that right into the one thing very, very worth noting, I forgot to just say, is on your master you should have nothing for mastering set up. Otherwise, whatever you record onto this audio channel will also be recorded with the mastering plugins already functioning. So basically you'll be double mastering whatever you record. You don't want to do that. So if you have a compressor, limiter, or something like that on your master channel, just turn them off for now, and then you could turn them right on after you finish this one step. So then we got the audio. You can either reverse it directly in the sampler, or you can reverse it just by hitting R here, and yeah, so then you have the audio that is isolated or just completely taken from the track. Nice and neat. It'll loop perfectly, of course, because you have it like this. So let's give ourselves a sampler to play with. Pop the audio directly into the sampler, and it wants to, of course, start it at the wrong place, so set that all up, set it to loop mode, though I don't think it's going to need to loop because we're only going to do the spin down to last for about half of a bar. So we can just take this now. Let's make a new MIDI part, and this is our spin down. By the way, I don't normally label anything when I work, I just work, but I know a lot of my students also love to label things, and I appreciate them for that because some of them projects that I see are very, very huge, but I don't usually label anything. So C3 is kind of your regular, is the pitch that it assigns the sample to. You can change that, but for this purpose, for this technique, you don't need to do any tuning for this, because you're just going to basically stick with the C's. And then move my cup of coffee here. So basically you would just go, let's just set it up correctly, because if you just go, it wants to loop the whole thing, of course. Stupid, bad defaults. See, you have the right sound, you just haven't set up glide yet. And we'll start with about a 1 second time. That's not bad. That's already pretty decent. Let's see how it does in the span of let's start with C6. Go all the way down to C1. Ooh, let's see. The reason I'm going to C1, of course, is the turntable has to stop. You're not spinning it down to the default, to the normal tempo. You're spinning it down to stopping. So yeah, we kind of want to, we can mute this for the time being. That sounds pretty sweet already. And I'm going to cut this because we're going to shift this around a bit. Now, in context of what you've recorded already, I've put the kick and bass and percussion on its own group. You can also you can either mute the groups themselves individually. I'm muting just the two of them together to keep the screen nice and simple. So this automation here is just turning off the group of the kick and bass and percussion. You could do it however you want. There's a million ways to do this. You could even do it with a utility plugin that just ducks it, to max, like, if I was to use, I'm not even gonna waste your time, but you know there's a million ways of doing that. So you don't want the two to play at the same time. That would just be weird. And so let's just kind of go a little before and a little after. Now, of course, it's going to sound super dry because normally there's going to be some other type of uplifter effect, some kind of maybe whoosh or a reverse cymbal that goes at the same time as the vinyl spin down. I'll never have the spin down just completely alone. So it's important to just keep that in mind. When you do it, you just want to get the timing right, and also go check the sampler and double check on the amplitude envelope, because you're probably going to want to have it not set yet. Set the decay to kind of short so that it gets lower in volume as it gets slower, which is what a regular turntable would do as well, because as the turntable gets so super slow, it's barely making that needle move, and the needle, of course, causes volume to be louder the more it moves. So yeah, needless to say, to mimic the physics of it, you definitely want the volume to drop down. That's pretty cool. Maybe make it a tiny bit shorter. Pretty cool. And this goes all the way. So let's see it unsoloed. And the final thing to really keep in mind is spin down wouldn't occur directly on the beat. It would occur a little bit before. A DJ is going to have that, that hand on the platter and ready to pull it back a little before. So you're going to want to start just before the drums and everything get muted. So let's see, try to pull it back here. Too early, I think. It's going to be a little touch and go sometimes, but it always does end up sounding fine. I guess you're wondering why I put the crashes here, because I didn't take the effects channel from the project that I pulled this from, so I just had to throw 2 random crashes in there just to kind of highlight the next section, let's say. So yeah, that is pretty much the gist of that's exactly the gist of how you do a vinyl spin down. You can of course change everything of it. It's completely customizable and it's yours. It's a spin down of your own track. It's not some stock sample from a sample pack. It's so much better to do your own shit, because in the end it's going to share the color of your project, and everything is just going to be a lot more cohesive. Now right now I think we have the spin down way too loud, so you could change the speed that it spins down. Maybe if you want it to spin down really fast. Or if you want it to take a much longer time, then juice it up to over 2 seconds. Idea that's way too long, but you get the general idea. The other one thing to note about this technique is that you don't always have to go down. Go down. You can go up too. And I didn't even loop it. Let's do that. I did loop it. Why is it? I've set the envelope. Let's set the envelope back up, and let's keep going higher. So if I go down, and then you go up. I hope I'm giving you loads of ideas by even showing you that. So yeah, enjoy, go play with your toys. See you soon. Bye.